we have like a little one down there all the time, and then when it rains, you just like don't go to the basement because it's it's just water.
I want it so bad.
Does it say Handyman's Dream on there?
Yeah, that we've learned. We've learned that phrase.
That's a weirdly fancy photo of a urinal. I don't think I've seen a fancy photo of a urinal before. I like the weird tile ceiling. Ah, the ceiling of their sanctuary looks like ours.
I know, right? Recent improvements include a steel roof, handicap accessible bathroom, and updated mechanicals.
Cannibals.
The
There are
handicap
no
accessible
bedrooms.
bathroom is important.
It's important to me. Environmental risks. Flood is minimal.
I don't know if I trust that at all.
Not
Nope.
non-existent.
Fire factor is minor.
What's the difference between minimal and minor?
I do not
Yeah.
know. They didn't say the last time it's been sold.
Never been. Never its
Oh,
original owner.
it still has the bell. That's a lot of power to offer up.
I know. Part of me wanted to theme it with like Cthulhu.
Oh my god.
But then I thought I would be mugged by white religious people.
Probable.
That's normal.
They're the ones with the guns too, so watch out.
I know. Odds are the gays cannot live in that church. That would be a sin.
Noise level, none. That sounds suspicious and wrong.
What does that mean? The building doesn't make noise?
It doesn't make any
It's
sense.
perfectly silent in that neighborhood. There is no noise around this building.
The thing that gets me is like, what remodeling do you need for residential use, and why are you implying that someone should live here?
Well, it doesn't technically have any bedrooms, is probably one.
Yeah. But they're
Yeah.
saying someone should live there.
Well, um, there was a church that sold in Detroit recently that they're turning into, um, just like an apartment complex. A lot of them get turned into apartments. Some of them are like community centers, and there should be a lot more of that because the same reason it would be good for a commune center. Like you have kitchen, you have empty rec rooms. Like
Yeah.
it is meant for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sanctuary, man.
Places for people to come in
Yeah,
the community.
But I don't want anyone to come to mine.
yeah.
Invite only.
That's what it's like when I work alone at the church because sometimes I lock the front door and then it's just me and I have a church.
Hey, I offered cat sanctuary for the big church building, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
How many cats do you have to have before it counts as a cat sanctuary? Like, what are the rules? Like, what qualifies it?
You have
Can you just
to
cats?
you have to not
That's
know
I don't
some of
think there's
them.
a rule.
People bring them to you.
Unlimited. Unlimited cats.
Does the law on how many cats you're allowed to have, does that, like, change if you have a church?
I don't know. You're allowed infinity animals in Shorewood. My mother told me.
Infinity.
Well, she said it must be true.
She called them and said, "Hey, am I allowed to have 3 dogs?" And they were like, "We don't care."
That's what I would say if somebody called me with that question. No matter where you are, what position you hold in government. Like, why 3 dogs? What are you wasting my time? Hang
Yeah.
up.
But like if I said 19 cats, they might think about it.
I'll say it's probably not a good idea, but I'll let you make that mistake on your own.
Okay, but that could be a wildcat situation, like, AKA if they all got out, it would be a problem.
It would, yeah.
Wait a minute, is that front door?
Outdoor cats are just kind of a problem in general.
There's something
Yeah, they
wrong
are.
with the front door of the church.
I read an article once that said that there's like some 40 or something species in North America have gone extinct thanks to domestic cats outside.
Oh.
The
That's-
hell?
They kill stuff. They're predators.
They do kill stuff. They kill lots of stuff.
So outdoor cats just kill stuff. Kill birds, kill rodents, whatever they want.
Shit.
And you
No
know
rat.
the trick to them is that like their survival is not dependent on that either, because then they just go back to the home that they're from and they get fed. So they don't have to kill to eat; they just kill for fun.
My cat is an expert in killing cockroaches.
That's good.
See
Are
him
they
running
cockroaches
around in the middle of the night.
Texas?
Oh,
Or
there's
are they palmetto bugs in Texas?
everything in Texas.
Cockroaches and palmetto bugs are the same thing. I'm wondering what they're called in Texas.
Cockroaches.
Lame.
Why would you want a fancy word for a cockroach?
South
Jason-
Carolina calls them palmettos.
To be fair, Jason also is not from Texas.
Yeah.
That's true.
I had never heard them called not cockroaches before.
Is palmetto not the name of a cookie? It sounds like a cookie.
It does sound like a cookie.
They're definitely
And it is a
cockroach. Palmetto bugs, they're just like bigger cockroaches. Like, you know how you go enough south and all the insects are larger?
Yeah.
Nope.
It's that. The palmetto bugs are like big.
How big are they in Venezuela? Because that is
Yeah.
the
Big.
middle of south. When you go further south than that, they start getting smaller again.
They're pretty big in Venezuela.
It's really exciting to find a cockroach on a towel that you're about to grab because you got out of the shower.
Does that happen?
It happened to me. South Carolina's a weird place. Bugs get in because of the nature of the town.
Bugtown.
Fine.
Just gotta deal with cockroaches. You're only gonna get like 2 or 3 in your house, but that's enough to be annoying. That and my grandma was on the river.
If your grandma's out on the river, there's going to be bugs on your towels.
Yeah. That's how it works.
The old proverb. It's the moral of the story. Where else don't we like bugs? In game. That's right.
That's true.
Oh,
Oh god, yes.
It's episode number 80. That's another big round number. We've hit another milestone. This one is called City Slickers. Do you guys remember that movie?
No.
no.
I do. All right, 1 out of 4 ain't bad.
They're too young. They don't remember. It's Billy Crystal
I love him.
is the main character. And he's got, I think, one of the wet bandits from Home Alone is one of the other city slickers. But I
That
don't
makes
remember his name.
That makes sense. Magic Max and one of the bandits from Home Alone.
You are correct.
Yeah. They're just on vacation.
They're not a wet bandit in this one.
Yeah.
They're not just always
Oh.
wet banditing.
It's pretty dry.
Are the bandits always wet in Home Alone?
Yes.
That's their thing. That's their calling
Oh,
card.
I see.
Because they leave the water running, so they're the wet bandits. Well, I guess everybody's got to watch City Slickers and Home Alone to get caught up.
All right, time out.
Hasn't seen Home Alone. Well, wait for Christmas. That's a Christmas film.
I've seen Home Alone. I haven't seen City Slicker.
You got to
Yeah, I
remember
haven't
though
seen City
the
Slicker yet.
bit about wet bandits. It's okay. You can probably skip it.
It's not a classic movie by any stretch.
No.
But it's Magic Max. Miracle Max, sorry. I'm sorry.
Last time, things got a little strange. We had just escaped a maze-like series of tunnels and caverns where we were being chased by the god of death, Niord, and found ourselves in front of a massive ice wall that was being guarded by a old blue-skinned individual. You eventually convinced him to open it for you. It turned out it was a huge gate door. He opened it with his bare hands and introduced you to a small pocket of temperate, sort of idyllic farmland where he is growing his own fruits and vegetables, raising his own livestock, uh, and just kind of living a nice little life in the middle of a frozen wasteland on fresh green grass and cohabitating with a couple of what were they called, Jason?
Automatic.
Automatics. Yeah, a couple of mechanical men, one of whom calls himself the Greeter, and is excited to tell you about the city of Taufel and the different things that you can find and engage with there. And the other one, who is called the Smithy, who is not excited to talk to you about anything, but you all seem very much more interested in speaking with. Um, the Smithy here is of an extraordinary caliber and is able to work magite, pieces of magical crystal earth, into weapons and items and armor. So everyone had a piece that they brought into Talfel with them, and they all handed over and made special requests of the smithy, who begrudgingly accepted them. We talked to a lot of people, and where we left off was most of us still pretty exhausted. We had our first chance to rest in a long time, and it seems that one night's sleep really just kind of scratched the surface of how many we needed. We woke up and talked to more people, and that's where we ended. So, just to give you a quick recap, it's nice manicured lawn. The greeter takes care of the grass around here. There is a white sand pathway that leads from that gate over to the other edge of this kind of pocket of temperate zone, where it abruptly stops and changes once again to ice and snow that reaches out into a series of massive buildings, huge metal structures that stand hundreds of feet high, and they're covered in ornate carvings and odd magical types of symbols and spires and filigree. There is a nice little plot of corn that your giant host is growing. He also has a patch of potatoes that he's been growing, and a little pig pen full of woolly pigs that is next to an orchard of massive evergreen trees. There is another building nearby that the smithy lives in. He is trapped there. He exists only on a track to be able to move around inside of the building and smith things for you. He is constantly working, and the forge is always hot. The greeter tends to the grounds. They're all willing to talk to you or answer any questions. If you want to talk to the giant, whose name is Yoimir, you will have to agree to a certain set of parameters for the conversation. What would you like to do? I'll say last time when we woke up, it was still kind of dark out. So we'll wait until we get some light coming in again. It's almost always overcast. The sun itself is not within the sphere of influence that creates this little environment. So there's kind of like a snowy, overcast sky going above you.
there ain't much that we can do until we get our weapons and we get our rest for all the exhaustion to go away.
I feel amazing. Feel
Now, is the entire
with lightning.
this entire climate zone? Because I don't know if I've actually checked. Uh, is it like a giant ice wall that's in a big circle, or does it just come to like an invisible sort of force field and stops on the other side?
Let's just have Ravi explore around and
Yeah.
kind of get an idea of what he's looking at. I'll probably put that on investigation.
$12.
Okay. You kind of do a perimeter, you walk around the edge, do a circumference of the whole place to see exactly what you're dealing with. It is almost perfectly spherical, the area that is inside this kind of warm zone. So that very edge where the kind of doorway was that you came in is an edge there, and then it curves away from that door, sort of immediately because that's one point on the circle and sort of curving back as soon as you get there. There is not a wall that surrounds the edge of this. It is just sort of an abrupt, invisible stop. You could pass your hand past that line. There's not anything physical or apparent that stops you from doing so. It's just immediately cold on the other side. It's like dipping your arm into ice water when you reach out, and you can kind of bring it back and it'll warm up very quickly. The snow doesn't necessarily pile up on the edge. It's because there's nothing for it to rest on. So there's a kind of weird tumbling that occurs, and when it sort of accumulates on the outside, because as it would fall in, it would melt immediately and then just kind of roll out into water on the other side.
If I look up, just kind of into the generic sky, do I see anything there? Any like floating mechanical contraption, anything like that?
Looking up, we'll need a perception check.
22.
Okay. It would be very easy to pick out anything against the overcast sky. It's all just blank, like a grayish white up there. So you think you're pretty confident that if there was something floating up there causing this sort of area to occur, that you'd be able to pick it out. But you don't see anything.
Okay. I will kind of go back to the group at that point.
Okay, so we're doing a lot of resting and relaxing because we got very exhausted by the cold as we were coming through the caverns and past Freyr. So we are going to, I think, based on the impression that I'm getting, spend a little bit of time here just resting and recuperating and trying to remove those exhaustion levels from ourselves. You've got a couple options. You could sit still, cross your legs and cross your arms in front of yourself and stare into the abyss until 3 or 4 days passed and all those exhaustion levels go away. Totally possible. Ravi's got create food and water spells that you could keep you fed without any trouble, or you could just be eating the food and water that Yoimir provides for you. Could get old pretty fast, but it's good stuff. Or you could do something else.
We'll do that.
It's up to you.
Taste like.
He's really just got the corn and the potatoes. The potato raw is not good. It's very starchy and hard. So you're going to want to prepare that in some way. And like I said, when he pulls a potato up out of the ground, it's enormous. It's like the size of a car. So you got to kind of break it into pieces. But there's a lot of different options, like there would be with any potato. Again, this one's kind of like a sweet potato, more than your standard variety. And it comes in sort of a dark reddish orange color. But yeah, you could make it. You could use it to make noodles or anything else that you would maybe be using wheat for. You could boil it, bake it, mash it.
Put in a stew.
You could put it in a stew if you want.
A
Uh,
stew, only potato.
and while Yoimir hasn't done it yet, he did mention that he could dig up meat from one of his older woolly pigs. He buries it
Afraid of
deep
that one.
underground.
I'm afraid of that one. I don't know how to feel about that one.
I mean, I would probably go talk to the smithy at some point. Uh,
Yeah.
both to get my items back. And I would also like to ask him if, do you know what's keeping this area of the continent so temperate?
You mean my little slice of paradise here?
Yeah.
It's magite.
Did you build it, or was this built before you got here?
What, the city? The building? Which part?
Whatever is the, I'm assuming it's a magite ring of some kind. I don't think you just buried magite into the ground. However, whatever keeping this area temperate, did you build it, or the people who built you build it?
That's an interesting question. A little philosophical, I think. That's kind of outside of your range. Did they build it or did I build it? If they built me, does that count as their accomplishment or mine?
I would say it's yours. If you have a son and your son does something, doesn't mean it's make it your accomplishment.
I didn't build this one, but I have built others.
Could you build one that's transportable?
If you've got the materials for me.
What kind and how much magite would it take?
He gestures with his hands. Bigger than the piddly pieces that you brought me so far. Unless you're hiding some up your ass.
I wish.
He might be. Might be a big old stick. Do you know anything about that maze just outside of the doors here?
You're asking me if what I know about what's going on outside of the doors that I can't exit from?
I don't know. I was told you were connected or something.
I'm connected to this. My job is not
Yeah.
to know that. My job is to make stuff.
That's too bad.
I don't know if it's too bad or not.
I mean, actually, you actually might be better off in here than out there. Now that I think about it.
If I
Yep.
could rather, if I had a choice to be me or you, I think it's pretty obvious.
I don't think it's that obvious.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah.
would you choose?
I'm just meaning there's a giant undead god wielding a sword looking to murder things out that way. That's all.
Yeah, well, if you wanted me to spell it out for you, one of us understands what they're doing and how to do it, and the other one
Is a
doesn't know which one they would want to be. Look at him try to puzzle it out.
That's
Oh
really
my God.
convoluted, my guy.
Weren't programmed to think very hard, were you? Must be a
Nope.
real struggle.
I'm a
It's
magic
always a
guy.
struggle.
I do magic and I smash things. Usually I smash things with magic.
He's pretty good at it.
You tell him as he's smashing something with magic in front of himself.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna go see if your friend knows anything. Good day.
And I give him
Sure.
my super greeter too. Come along.
You guys think that guy has an evil switch?
That would be interesting. I mean, he's evil already, so
Maybe
make
we could
him
flip it good.
eviler.
Wow.
Eviler.
I didn't know
Yeah,
being cranky meant you were inherently evil.
Yeah, I think he's more grumpy.
man, that
I
that
don't know
ought
what life's concept of evil is. They made him quirky for fun.
Yeah, I
probably.
have to imagine that in whoever built this is like plan was like, oh, come to our nice resort town in the middle of hell. Here you can meet quirky characters like the greeter and the really angry Smithy, who will build anything you want.
I
That's
think
what I'm
that this
saying.
Smithy that built that automatic was cranky himself, so it probably made his persona on that automatic.
Well, let's go talk to the greeter. I like him.
He is a distinct difference in personality.
Yeah, you approach him, he'll say, "Hello and welcome to Taufel.
Hey,
Can I be of assistance?"
do you know
Yes.
those doors? I'm gonna point where we came from.
Could you repeat your inquiry?
Do you know what's through those doors?
I am not familiar with the environment outside the boundaries of the city.
Do the
Where
boundaries of the city include everything outside of this one temperate circle?
I was gonna say.
Taufel itself is the largest city in the known world.
Is it?
It's easy if you don't know a lot of the world.
Fact
Uh,
check.
so theoretically, could you get us a map?
I'll say, "One moment, please." Um, and he kind of just stands up straight for a second, stares straight forward.
I want him to print like a fax machine.
ah,
And then he kind of comes back to again to look at everybody. He says, "The facilities for producing a map are not currently available. My
uh,
apologies."
If we were to give you a quill and ink, could you draw one for us? Just a rough sketch?
I could attempt such a thing, although it is not in my programming.
That's fine. We just need like squares and names of buildings is all.
Anybody got ink?
I better.
I think I still do, yeah.
while they're rummaging through their stuff and other stuff, I asked the guy, do you know where we can get more magites?
Magite is a non renewable resource in the world of Drauma. Most is procured underneath the soil, but some can be found in dilapidated equipment or overused construction.
Do you know where we can find some around here in Taufel?
To locate the nearest source of raw magite, one should. I have to think now. This is what's not fair is that he's a robot and he would be able to go right into his processing and just have it all immediately. And I'm not a robot, so I have to think about how to phrase stuff. Yeah. Uh, Converse with the local mining company to find charts and data on local magite deposits.
Can
Charts
you
and
point
data.
where is the local mining facility thingy towards
Um,
to?
he turns around and he says, "The local mining union 163 is located in that building." And he'll point past a bunch of the frozen buildings to one that's sort of off in the distance.
Is it like inside the dome or just past all that in the not
It's
inside?
out in the frozen cityscape.
Okay.
Did this
Alrighty,
used
thank
to be
you.
a lot bigger?
This area was one of several 100,000 that compose the entire city of Taufel.
Is there a reason that this is the only one active?
I do not possess that information. I do not know.
Do you know if there's any more besides these ones that are active?
I have not ventured beyond the range of our current housing facility.
Where's the device that keeps this housing facility running?
He points at the ground.
See,
Is there an easy entrance to see this machinery or whatever this is called working?
The citizens of Taufel generally do not want to interact with the inner workings that create the city that you see before you. Most of the internal processes are hidden from public view.
I'm going to detect magic.
Okay. What type of magic is this that makes a dome of warmth? I want to say abjuration. It,
what one makes the hut?
whatever makes the hut. I could check that real fast. And not that it's going to make a huge difference. That's evocation?
Oh,
Interesting. I guess that kind of makes sense. It's sort of pervasive in the entire area that you're in, but you can tell that it's centralized at a point that's in the center of the sort of ring that you're in. But it is like 20 or 30 feet under the surface. So the sphere itself actually goes a little bit wider underground.
Gotcha. So, with detect magic, can I detect the individual pieces of magite?
With this, for this specific usage of it, since this magite is active and is like actually using the magic, and it's the purpose of it is being is present.
Expunged. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the magic radiating from it, and that gives you an idea of where it is and kind of like how big it is. And it is kind of a bigger piece. It's like as big as your torso. It's underground. You can't see exactly what the configuration of it is or what's been done to it to make it just kind of always active and making this little field of warmth for everybody. But you get an idea of roughly how big it is and roughly where it is.
Well, good news and bad news, team. Good news is I can detect where the magic is coming from. And probably also good news, because that means it's unlikely to fail, that it's a good 20 feet beneath us.
And the bad?
do
Uh,
we
the,
want it? Is that it?
what I was thinking is if we exited here, we could search for the raw magite with spells like Detect Magic, find it, and just dig it up, and try to use it to our advantage. The problem is if they're all buried 20 to 30 feet below us, we can't dig through 20 feet of hardened, icy ground.
No.
Maybe we can ask that grumpy guy to make us something to be able to go through the ground in a faster pace than whatever items we have. I mean, we can just gather some materials whenever we go exploring and bring it back to him, and whenever we find one, we can just, no.
I think the problem is that takes several days, if not weeks, that I don't think we have. Like,
My
us,
big old friend wasn't here. We could take that one.
But then
even that would take time. Like, for us to dig down 20 to 30 feet, The piece is
Yes.
the piece is almost as big as I am, so it's heavy as shit too.
Right, but
Uh,
our friend would be able to procure that. He procured a potato that was bigger than that.
I mean, if we
Yeah.
can find it with the market and see if we can't get him to dig it up for us.
When he buries his woolly pigs, he buries them far enough down that it gets into the frozen ground again. He's a giant. He's like 25 feet tall. He can dig out with his hands. He has no problem digging things up.
And what will happen to the automatics if we dig this one out?
Uh,
What are you doing here?
that's not a good idea. We don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I'm
the
saying.
barrier goes away and we start freezing and they freeze and everything is lost. That's why I think we have to go outside to try to find to see if we can detect some sort of broken magite, whatever happened in the spell. See if we can't dig that up and go from there.
Yeah.
Well,
Do we know
technically, the only living thing here is him.
That we know of.
I guess that's true.
if
I
we
mean,
don't need a bubble this big of warm? Does it have to be that size of magite?
I don't know.
we don't know. At the same time, I don't think this friend of ours, the giant, is gonna be able to help us because remember, he's not gonna leave this place until his parents come back. And that's why he's keeping an eye on the door.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Uh,
getting ahead of
theoretically,
ourselves.
we could trade off. We agree that he puts us on top of the wall. We watch for his parents while he goes and digs.
But there comes a problem. What if the parents comes back and we can't open the door like he did?
They can open the door if they're giants.
Also, I think they might be dead.
That too.
Yeah, I know.
But
Or we can say that I will just call to him. I will tell him that I've got a spell that can reach out into his mind so he can come running back if need be.
That's not.
Yeah.
we have to find something first, though.
And it's gonna,
Yes.
yes,
I
definitely.
think
And it's gonna take some time to convince him as well. I mean, you saw how hard it was to convince him to open the freaking door.
well, I think we should ask about like an armory or armories or like treasuries or seated
Yeah,
power and stuff. I mean,
some close to this cold weather. That would be nice.
well, I mean,
It's
places that might have, if we're looking for valuables or we're looking for the highest quality survival-y stuff, that's going to be usually is in the seat of power. It's where the leaders are or the rich people. In the armories, if we don't know what happened here, if stuff's still here and just no people, maybe there's some really old stuff with magite in it.
That's why I'm hoping for us to get the map, so we can use the map to try to pick out the most important buildings to look for stuff.
yep.
The maps cannot all be gone if this was somewhat of like a happening spot. Even if it's not in production, we may come across one.
I mean, unless it was paper.
That's true. He can just doodle.
I mean, we could have him try to draw something. I was saying I don't know if we'll find something. We don't know how long it's been like this.
How
True.
heavy are these automatics?
Heavy? You got to try to pick one up. Make a strength check.
Let's
I
do
believe
that.
in Jason.
Try to pick up Greeter.
I believe in you.
Alrighty, where is this? Sorry, okay, +2. Not that one. 14.
All right. You move to pick him up. You're not weak, and you roll decently well, so you can kind of get him off the ground. He weighs about what you would expect a person his size to weigh.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. What I'm thinking about this is
You lift
if
him up in the
there's
air and say, how may I assist you?
I'm just trying to figure out how much you weigh and if I can carry you or not. That's all. This this could work for something, especially with the smithy. We can probably pick him up and take him places with us if we
Dude,
need
he
his
is
assistance.
attached.
That guy might
Like
be heavier.
He is attached.
attached. Like no way to get him out.
And if we took him out, we don't know that this would work when he got back.
Hmm. I mean,
Why? Why don't we? Are we planning on like forcing companions with us before we know where we're going?
yes.
And we work on the map,
No.
work on some
I
goals.
mean,
Like, what
my
are you looking for outside of like support stuff?
you see,
Like
my
things
train
that
of
get
thought
extra
here
exhausting.
my train of thought here is that Smithy can craft and fix anything. So if we have to go and investigate things out there and we find something that needs to be fixed and none of us have the same knowledge that this Smithy has, we can probably carry him over
I
here,
don't. I
over
don't
the
know that he
place.
needs. I don't know that he can just do that anywhere. He probably needs to be in where he is.
I mean, it's worth a try, right? I mean, what can we lose? I mean,
What?
we're not losing anything at this point.
I mean, we could lose the smithy. We don't know if he can handle these kind of climates outside.
And we don't know if we'll even find anything you need him to work on.
Also, worth noting is that
Obviously,
he's.
would
Go
love
ahead.
to come back here whenever is reasonable where it's warm and we're not like dying just like passively.
I mean, let's be honest. If they keep talking about this being the biggest and greatest town or city or whatever it is of the whole world, there has to be some extent to it that needs probably fixing or something that we have no knowledge about. And I'm
But
just
do
trying
we
to
need
think ahead on
it?
what can we do to be able to fix if it comes down to it,
That
because we
probably
don't have
depends
the
on
knowledge.
what's broken.
Yeah, like I think the problem
What the
is.
hell our goal is here?
I think at most with stuff like the armory, we'd be looking for like materials to use, not something that needs to be fixed on the spot where it is.
I mean, we don't know how the place works. Probably something deactivates something to another something needs to be fixed, and we have no knowledge. And then there's our answer for what we're looking. I mean, we never know.
Arvestan, we're smart people. We can figure out how to get into anything. Do we even know where we need to be?
What do we need
We
to
know
do?
somewhere out there. We think is the dragons from his brother.
Cool. That's a lot.
Well,
And well, and this comes to mind as well. If this automatic can't draw a map, it's said that
he
the
said he could
place.
try.
Yeah, I know, but if he can, like, he said that the thing for the maps is not activated, so we have no clue how to activate things like this. I mean, I've never seen things like this before in my
If he
life,
could
so
draw us kind of a map, that's more than we have like ever had ever.
Yeah, like I don't need it to be in depth. It just gives me like rectangle, 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 rectangle with the names above it of what it is. I think that's good enough.
Yeah,
We
do we
don't
need
need
to
to
go that way or
operate a
that way?
map factory.
all right. I mean,
I,
just think about it. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, I'm not sure, like, cause he's on that rail, and I don't know if we like take him off of his rail if he just falls over because he doesn't appear to have legs.
That's
Um,
why I was trying to carry it and see if we can carry it.
I
Hey,
mean,
Crib, can I have some of your ink?
if you were to break his stand and pick him up, I think you could probably carry him, but he can't move.
We don't even have a thing for him to fix. Why would we carry around this person?
It's a thing that I'm thinking ahead, not for right now. We're not just gonna grab him and take him with us all over the place. It's like, oh, look at this. We found this. We need fixing. We cannot take it. Let's bring this guy over here.
I'm
That's what
gonna
I'm saying.
give the paper with the ink to Greeter so he could draw the map.
I did. Me or Kriv did.
Good.
I'm just gonna turn around and walk to the smithy and
Don't leave him in
and
there.
frustrated. I
Just
just
just just gonna
go over
steal the
there.
smithy. Come on, Smithy, we're going.
Gonna go commiserate with this smithy.
As much as he would love to come with us, because he sure does bitch in there a lot, I don't think he'd be super helpful out anywhere.
I'm gone.
Not talking to you.
Arvestan walks over to the smithy building. Do you just hang out outside, or are you going to go in and talk to him?
I'm just gonna go in and talk to him.
Say what? I mean, he doesn't want to talk to you.
Yo, Smithy,
What?
I got questions for you.
Oh my-
Can they be answered with a hammer?
Uh,
They will
no.
be.
Not if I stay away far from you. So my question is, how attached are you to those rails? Like, can I pick you up?
He shifts on his rail over and he stops at the corner of rocks and then he shifts back over closer towards you. He says, "Pretty attached, bud."
What if I pick you out of it, like lift you up? Will it like deactivate you? Will it hurt? Will something happen? Will you
Well,
stop working?
I couldn't tell you for sure if I was programmed to feel pain, but that would be a great way to find out.
Would you stop working then? Do you no clue either?
If you pull me away from my work, will I stop working? Yes.
What if I pull you away from your work and take you to another place to work? Will that work with you or no?
That is outside of my programming. Do you understand what programming is?
No.
Do I have to
This is a
explain everything to you?
probably because you and the other one outside is the first time that I've seen any of your automatic species.
See, some people, like you, just don't know anything. And so they bumble through life, wandering into whatever building or wall they have to, picking up rocks off the floor and maybe trying to eat them. We call
Yeah.
those stupid people. Now, other people, like me, get a set of knowledge when they are created that they are made with. I cannot go outside of that box of knowledge.
Hmm. But you can fix
This is
anything,
my
right?
box. Here's your box.
No, but I'm taller and bigger than you. What are you talking about? My box has to be bigger.
I don't know how many hundreds of years I spent talking to walls, but I wish I could go back to it.
Hmm. Okay. I'll just sit in the corner and just
If you
think.
want me to forge stuff, yes. Otherwise, no.
Has anybody tried to take you out of that place before?
Why would anyone do that? I'm a smithy.
I don't know. I'm just
I'm
wondering.
in the smithy.
Do you have a switch to turn on and off?
I'm not
Or
a
change your
lamp.
character? I mean, you kind of do look like one.
Oh, even your insults are subpar.
Gosh, you're so annoying. Just turn around and walk away again.
As he works on
And
your bow for you.
and and I walk to like the very edge of where the warm ends and the cold begins. Just but staying on the warm side, just to
Like the
look
northern
outside.
edge where like look out at the city in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay. What's everybody else doing while Arvesand's pouting?
I think we're trying to get a map.
Okay.
Did
Let's
he
see.
procure the map?
He's got a piece of paper. How big is your paper?
I know I have a journal. I don't know if I just have loose paper, but it would
I
probably.
have parchment.
How big is that, would we say?
It just says
Yeah.
parchment.
Well, I'm going to assume not like the size of a parachute.
No.
Probably closer to, probably a little bit bigger than like a standard piece of paper, like the 8.5 by 11. Um, I would say maybe a good foot square, little piece of paper. Uh, he gets the quill. He doesn't quite get it.
Oh,
I require assistance.
you um, you gotta dip it in the ink.
Please demonstrate.
Like that, and then I'll write greeter on the bottom.
He's struggling a lot. The first problem he runs into is holding the quill, because it's not part of his programming to hold a quill. So there's no base understanding on how that's supposed to work inside of his brain. So he sort of just like fumbles on it, and eventually he just uses his other hand and kind of just like mashes them together until it is stuck to him. And then he like stabs the paper,
Hmm.
and he like makes a little tear in it, and he pulls it back out.
Gentle, gentle. You have to be very gentle.
Please demonstrate.
Hmm. I'm gonna hold his hand
Okay.
and try to very gently move him to touch the page softly.
All right. He's totally non-resistant. Like you move his hand like you're holding the quill in your own hand. There's two hands because he's got it like mashed in there. And you
Okay,
touch it to the page.
you can move it, but you have to stay this soft.
He moves it and makes a mark. And he lifts the quill away. And then he puts it down and he sits down on the floor. And it kind of goes blank for a minute.
Oh, we stressed him out.
I mean, I guess they weren't kidding when they said this is what they were programmed to do, and anything outside of that gives them some anxiety.
I'm gonna take the quill and just like take everything away from him.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Processing.
Okay. Let me know when you're done. I think I'm gonna have to draw it for him, you guys. Or Kriv? You're better at drawing maps than I am.
I can try.
He could at least tell you, right?
He's going to be down for a second. You guys got something you want to do in the meantime?
We broke him. Oh man.
It seems really simple, but you kind of just like reshaped his entire world.
He just learned how to hold things.
It's like, that's a pretty big deal.
Well, alrighty then. You said there were no other buildings like in the area within the
Yeah,
sphere?
there's just the one actual building. And there is a little fence that pens in the pigs, but that's not really a building. Arvestan's off in the north edge, pouting.
I'm actually going to go to the far opposite side where we're probably going to have to go, away from the original wall. And
Oh, that's where Arvestan is. Yeah, all the way up to the north. You guys came up
yeah,
from the south.
and then I'm going to step outside just a little bit and detect magic again, see if I can detect anything outside.
What's the range on this? Like 30 feet?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. It's a very big area, and that's not far enough. Um, it doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't magic out in the city beyond you, but you'd have to be, traipsing around and looking for it, and you'd have to go a pretty fair distance in to really get a gauge of that area.
I mean, I'll walk around for a little bit. I'll keep my eyes and ears open. I'm not going to stray too far from where we're at, but
Um,
I'll definitely keep an eye on it.
I mean, with the first building that you would come to, like, how close are we getting to that? Are we going past that? Or is that something you would say, let's not go past any buildings, stay within sight of Arvestan?
I probably wouldn't go past any buildings just because I have no idea what's actually out here. I know what was out here before.
Okay. Robbie's out with the metal detector, just searching for magic on the edge. Arvestan, you can see him walking around in the cold.
Can I see, like, just looking there, looking around, looking at all these buildings and stuff like that? Do I see, like, anything weird, anything shiny, anything moving, any windows on the buildings or whatever?
Make a perception check.
Pretty good one. 18 plus 7, 25, right?
Okay. Down the street, and it takes a turn off to your right. There's a building that's like not the one that's at the end of the street, but the one that's right next to that. As it turns off on the opposite side of the street, about 4 floors up, something moves,
Yo,
but you don't
Robbie!
know what it is, and it moves out of sight immediately.
I start like talking to Robbie. Hey, Robbie! And I point over to the building, like over there. I just saw something move. Maybe it's my imagination, but I I think I just saw something move over there.
I will glance in that direction.
You look up; it looks just like a frozen metallic building. Um, you could stand and stare there for a little bit and make a perception check and see if you see anything. Also,
Nope. It's a 9.
yeah, yeah. There's nothing moving. There's a little bit of wind that's blowing some snow around. That's the only movement you see.
I will walk back into the dome.
Did
All
did
right.
you see anything looking over there?
Nope.
I could have swore I saw something.
I mean, judging by all the other stuff here, it wouldn't surprise me if there is things out there. Whether they are harmful in nature or not, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. And I keep staring at the same place just for a little bit and see if I can see it move again or not.
I'm gonna hang out with the robot.
Yeah. After like 5 or 6 minutes,
Jeez.
Greeter will say, "I learned something."
Good job.
He gets up and starts wandering.
Hey, 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 hey.
How may I assist you?
Rev, is he broken? He sounds weird now.
I think he's having a moment.
Can you help us draw the map for you?
Doing so is outside of my programming. What else is outside of my programming?
That's okay, right? We just did something together outside of your programming. Maybe you can kind of just give us directions.
Operating outside of my programming is not possible. Should not be possible.
You just made a line. That's really cool.
He's getting messed up, man.
I'm breaking him down. He's broken. Well, that's okay. I'm making a friend.
um, yeah, he says, I do not understand.
Hmm. Hmm.
Can we help?
I am not certain.
What is it you don't understand?
I am programmed to provide information for guests to the city of Taufel.
I think giving us directions is providing information.
I am programmed to do so with a verbal component, but I have no other capabilities. I am also required to tend to the grounds at the entrance to the city.
Well, you look at the grounds in order to tend to them, and you speak directions verbally. I think you're perfectly programmed to help.
He points at the little piece of paper on the floor with the line on it that says greeter on the bottom. He says, I am not programmed to do that.
You want to, though?
I'm not programmed to want.
But do you?
He's thinking really hard.
Both of you can make an insight check.
Did I see anything else staring at the same place for a while now?
Doesn't come back.
Okay. I start walking towards everybody.
You're a 9.
Hmm.
A 9?
Don't know how to read robots.
It's tough. What's Hajite got on insight?
21.
21?
Look with her eyes!
I know feelings, even robot
Yeah.
feelings.
it
Oh,
is tough. You would say that like an emotion or a feeling isn't necessarily the best way to describe the impression that you're getting from him. But that's the language that you operate on, so that's the one that you're applying to someone that wouldn't have that anyway. So your understanding of what he is experiencing right now is crippling fear.
Oh no. Existential crisis.
Of the highest order. Not in the way that like kids joke about it now, where they're like worried about paying bills and stuff, but like someone whose world actually just got completely shattered
Oh.
on a fundamental level.
Oh boy. Kriv?
Yeah?
I think we scared him. I think he's afraid of this new thing he's learned.
Well,
I'm sure programming is more of a safety net than
well, it's normal to be afraid when you are in a new situation. A lot of changes.
do Crib, do you think calm emotion would work?
That's a very philosophical question.
It's not a creature.
I don't know. Maybe this
Also, I
is.
don't have that.
Yeah.
Can't do it anyway, but it would be weird if we could, right?
It'd be weird. It'd be really weird. Can Robbie do that?
I assume I'm close to back at this point.
Yeah.
Can I do
They
what?
scared the robot. They messed him up.
I'm gonna put my hand on the robot's shoulder.
He's processing.
We are here with you. We can help you, let's call it externally processing.
What are you gonna do for him?
Externally processing was my attempt at saying therapy for robots.
I mean, if you weren't supposed to be able to do something, you wouldn't be able to do it, right? Just because you didn't know how doesn't mean you can't.
This would appear to be the case. Your logic is sound.
It seems like learning something new is within your programming.
Learning new things is outside of my programming parameters. However, it appears that I am capable of exceeding parameters.
This feels dangerous. We need to watch our
Well, I'm sure. I'm not a robot. Hi, Ravi. Welcome back.
How you doing?
I don't know how to logic a robot. It has no feelings, but he's upset.
He's processing.
I will kneel by the robot. How you doing, bud?
I am uncertain.
That's okay. We've had a lot of uncertainty in our journeys here. I think that is somewhat normal.
Whoever created him gave him the ability to learn.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. Like, if the city of Talfal were to change in any way, he would have to be able to learn the new updates of how the town was. So he'd have to be able to learn something.
We're just updating him.
Yeah, I guess so.
Such changes would be inserted into my programming, should they occur.
Well, this is old-fashioned program insertion.
Get it together, man.
Old fashioned. We don't know what programming is.
You mean to say that you are programmers?
Yes.
Yes.
This reconciles with my programming. You may continue.
Sick.
Do we want to try to help him with the map again?
I can
Took a
try.
really long time last time he broke down.
I'll try drawing it first, okay? Taking notes. We'll see. We'll go from there.
You are attempting to create a visual aid for my verbal description.
Yes. Right.
It's a visual update for you. Then you will be able to also see what it looks like.
I have seen the map of the city. However, I am not programmed to recreate it. There are machines that do such.
Well, if I have the paper out, could you like point? Like over here would be the market district or something. I can draw it out, and you can tell me what you saw.
This is feasible. He points in the upper left corner of the piece of parchment and he says, pigment should exist here.
Okay. What
Is it a building?
what would it represent? What part of the city?
This mark of pigment will represent approximately 1/100th of the northern residential district.
Progress.
Is there a building there?
Yes, this mark of pigment will represent part of that building. There is a tenement building for residency.
Right. About how big? How big is the building?
The building stands 24 stories tall.
Wow.
On one side, it stretches across 250 feet. On the other side, it stretches across 130 feet.
Huh.
How many people would live in that building?
Current residency puts the occupancy at 0. But it could support up to how many people could live there? A few dozen thousand at least. 30,000 people.
That's like more people than I've seen.
Yeah, how big's the city of Kyrenia?
Maybe about that big.
Oh no!
At least population
Holy
wise.
cow.
Oh
Wow.
no.
That's insane.
You said
Well-
the building is 1/100th the city?
This mark of pigment represents 1/100th of the residential district in the northern part of the city. The building itself will be represented by several more marks of pigment.
Can we change the scale up maybe? Could you tell us just about maybe the districts or
Maybe a shape?
I'll like tap like the bottom of the page or something. If we're here looking at the city, what would be like the first district we would see? We'd walk into.
The first district would be for entertainment, meant to greet new members of the city of Taufel. It eases you into the city itself.
How many districts are there?
At current time, there are approximately 21 districts of Taufel. These can be further subdivided if necessary.
No, it's not necessary. Are they all about the same size?
No, most residential districts occupy more space in the square footage of the city itself. In addition, some administrative districts are much smaller than the others. The city itself spans most of the landmass of the continent of Taufel.
Is there like a seat of power or equivalent where leaders or decision makers or representatives would be?
There are several, depending on the historical moment in time that we're referring to the city.
What about the last known seat of power?
The last known seat of power was in the center of the city itself, and the only seat of power at the time.
And how far away from here is that?
In what direction?
And what direction?
To reach the center of the city, one would travel north, approximately 230 miles.
Holy cow.
Hmm.
Is there any sort of underground structure part of the city at all? If it goes so tall, does it go underground as well?
Yes, there is an extensive subterranean network of tunnels and buildings that occupy the city, in addition to its above ground structures.
Where is the closest entrance?
Entry into the underground generally requires entry into a building. The closest entrance is part of the entertainment district.
Was this network underground? Was that for like city maintenance? Was that like just travel space?
All subterranean buildings and structures serve similar purposes to those that are above ground. It is possible to say that the city can be mirrored underground. Of course, such a claim would be inaccurate. Suffice to say, the underground is as expansive and utilitarian as the buildings above ground.
So we're only seeing half? Like,
From our current viewpoint, he turns to look at the city.
yeah.
We are in view of approximately 0.36% of the city of Taufel.
Are there faster modes of transportation in Taufel?
I'm glad you asked. I assume that we're talking about faster modes than traditional pedestrian traversal.
Hey,
Correct.
Yes.
Most transportation in the city of Taufel is conducted via teleportation.
Oh my goodness.
And how does that work?
tell me more.
Several pads around the city contain teleportation circles that can be used and programmed to move from one pad to another.
Are they
Uh, Go ahead, Griff.
no, are they active? Does that require like a special um, skill, I guess, to operate?
Outside of our current position, there are no active Magite sites in the city of Taufel.
Hmm.
How could we reactivate them?
To do so requires a magical incantation. Unfortunately, I'm unfamiliar with the spell required.
Do you know?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Do you know anyone who would be?
I know of very few people currently in existence. Outside of your group, there is our guest, the giant Yoimir, and the smithy in the building nearby. Neither one of them are aware of the incantation required to activate the teleportation circles.
Was there, or is there rather, a district more focused on magic learning or practice or
Every district contains some measure of magical learning and practice. The city of Talfel is a city of magic.
no particular highly dense area for it, like a school or? Mm.
Those that gather the greatest amount of magical power often wield that power in order to conquer the others. Thus, the seat of power has constantly shifted throughout history in different parts of the city of Talfel. When more magic is concentrated or understood in a certain sector, in a way that puts them in a position over the others, they wield that power in order to subjugate the rest of the city. This would mean that, at the time of speaking, the last known seat of power would likely be the most magically concentrated part of the city of Taufel.
Do you know the name of the last seat of power?
There is no name outside of the city itself, or those that practice the power.
So we gotta find a way to activate these teleportation circles. Teleport to the middle of the city to get close to this so-called seat of power. Uh, and then maybe that's where the Dragonstorm's brother would be.
Or where one of us becomes a god?
And one of us dies.
Please, not me. Not again.
If you become a god, you'll stop dying.
That's true.
Unless you're one of those ones that dies all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like I'm going that way, right?
The god of perpetual death.
It's 2 times already.
If you want to be a death god, though, you've got competition.
I'm wondering if Freyr
Yeah.
one of the guys.
Honestly, the city might be older than Freyr.
I'm not saying he started it or ran it in any kind of way, but he could have
Been here?
basically sat in the chair.
Yeah, I mean that's a reasonable assertion to make with his power. I don't suppose we know anybody who would know how to work a magical incantation to reactivate portals, would we?
What kind of magic is that?
Teleportation magic?
I know we were talking about it a while ago.
Would Sequus know? He disappeared, right? He magicked
Yeah,
out.
he opened the portal and passed through it and then
He
closed
did
it.
open a portal.
It's conjuration magic.
No, well, I can't help.
Robbie, maybe if you ask nice, he'll tell us.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I will go ahead and send Sequus a message.
Sequus, what's up?
All right.
Think we found a way to the brother need to activate teleportation circles. Any idea how to do that?
Tell him he's a jerk.
I don't think I'm going to say that. I don't think it's going to help our cause.
Fine.
How's if you yell it loud enough while he's talking, he'll hear.
I don't think it works like that.
It'll say, without knowing the exact nature of the circles themselves, I can't say for certain how they are used. I'm not familiar with the city. Who is?
Well, He said we would have to probably find somebody familiar with the city.
We got one.
Yeah,
Our
unfortunately, our options are limited at this point in time.
our automatic guy probably does.
I have more questions for him.
I mean, I guess it's
I think
possible
he
the
can
Smithy
walk
might have
with
some
us.
knowledge.
I think we should kidnap this one. If
Or
we,
ask him politely to come with us.
yeah, he can walk.
He can hear you.
Yeah,
Look at that. My idea of lifting somebody has turned you guys into kidnapping another one instead of the one that I wanted.
Asking politely
I'm
to come
still
join
anti-kidnapping.
us.
Arvestan, ours is a guide. Yours is a man stuck to a cart.
You can fix things and we can unstuck him.
He can't fix things on the fly, yo.
Hey,
He
we
needs
don't know
small
that.
things and his hammer and
Arvestan.
his shit. And he's gonna sass you the whole time. I just don't want that kind of vibe.
You like him, you know it.
I barely like you.
Well,
Yeah.
that's pretty rude considering you're getting married.
Oh god, I ain't getting married to her. Hell no.
That's practically mushy for you, Hajite.
Oh, thanks.
And you didn't hit me for saying that? Like, are you good?
She's weird.
She's also having an existential crisis based off of the robot learning
She's
things.
got level 2
Yep.
exhaustion. Give her a break.
The nap, yeah. Now I have more location questions.
Don't worry. When I start feeling better, I will hit you.
I don't doubt it.
All right, what questions do we have for Greeter?
Hey.
Can we give him a new name? Can we call him Guide?
Where's that giant? Is he like sleeping right now?
He's on the wall.
He's minding his own
Oh, okay.
business.
Okay.
Um, was there like a known like a library or archive where like historical stuff might be stored, recorded?
Talfel boasts a number of public libraries and museums for guests to peruse to learn more about the city and the world around them. May I make some recommendations?
Yes, please.
The Rockwell Library contains most of our nonfiction volumes. There you can find historical accounts of the city of Talfel and the other continents on the planet. There are also numerous works on extraterrestrial entities.
Oh, we're going there, you guys. Where is that? Can you?
I was really suspicious when he said the world of Drauma. I was very suspicious of that. That implies there's more worlds.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. I was like, huh.
I'm stressed.
It tells you generally that the Rockwell Library is in the northeast quadrant of the city.
Would that be one of the newer museums, libraries?
Most old or aged libraries, museums, or other buildings are torn down and replaced with those that are more recent.
Mhm.
As new knowledge is acquired, the old is stripped away.
Hmm.
As of the current standing ones, are they all roughly the same age then?
Only when knowledge is considered obsolete is it completely destroyed.
I like
For
that.
instance, there were volumes that described the world as consisting of 3 continents: Taufel, Kyrenia, and Mochipa. Those volumes has since been expunged and replaced with new knowledge.
What are those countenance?
It's about to rock our world right now.
You'll have to read and find out for yourself.
Oh god, I don't want to. Is it in common?
Greeter's like, spoiler alert.
Common, right? I don't have to learn an extraterrestrial language.
I'm not familiar with any extraterrestrial language. But if you find such information, I would be happy if you would share it with me,
So that you could learn.
so that I might better serve guests that come to the city of Taufel.
Like aliens from other worlds.
Just curiosity. How many continents are there currently of people that have visited Taufel?
Give me a minute because I have to check my notes for this. I do want to tell you, I don't want to give you a non-committal response at this time, but
Yeah.
I gotta do a double check.
I know I've seen a map, but I feel like the map I've seen is obsolete.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
The map is absolutely obsolete.
It is
Rude
simply
map.
not complete.
Yep, they have a flat Earth map.
Flat Earth map. The Earth's not flat. What?
All right, there are 6.
I need to pull up my map.
Okay. That's nice information.
Six.
I suppose secondary question: how many creatures from different planets have visited Taufel?
Greeter has to pause because he does not have that information. You say, I cannot provide that information for you. I apologize.
That's okay. Do you know how many other planets have life on them?
My apologies, but I have not been programmed with the information found in the stores of Taufel. I would love to be a complete repository of all knowledge of the known world, that I might assist you in learning from this endeavor. However, as has been demonstrated very recently, he points to the paper with just like scribbles and scratches on it. My knowledge is not exhaustive.
That's okay. I was just curious.
It may be possible to gain that information in the city itself.
Do you think we would be able to reconnect you to the knowledge you once had?
I have not lost knowledge over time, but I did not possess as much as you may be considering.
Hmm.
Most of my knowledge is geographical and centered around the city itself.
Would you be able to walk us around the city?
Current estimates place that several avenues in the city are impassable at this time. However, I may be able to guide you through certain portions of the city. It is outside of my programming, but what the hell?
We are bad influences.
Someone gave him fantasy weed.
That would be greatly appreciated when we decide to move on out of here. We still have to find a way to activate teleportation circles and all the other stuff to get around a bit quicker, but... Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't think we're going to make it. Several months wandering around the city here.
Would the cold be detrimental to your functioning?
I have not experimented with the cold outside of our current situation to discover whether or not it would hinder my ability to function.
Hmm.
We could run some tests.
I'm not programmed to move outside of my restricted area.
But you can learn, right?
I cannot promise it will be easy, but we can attempt it.
I mean, if it turns out you can't, that's okay. We're just testing some things out here.
You like being called greeter?
I do not have likes or dislikes.
Would you like a new name?
I do not have likes or dislikes.
Do you want a new name?
It
I do
doesn't
not have
wants
wants.
either. Can I name you something else?
Yeah, will you be okay with with us calling you something different?
You are welcome to do as you please.
He does not get joy or upset. Understand that as well.
Is there a district, a shopping district or something where we might find clothes to help in the cold?
During the time of the city's operation, Taufel was not a considerably cold place.
Mm.
Finding warm weather clothing is not impossible, but not as common as you may currently think. However, I could direct you to some fashion design stores that may be able to suit your needs.
How long ago did Taufel get cold?
He kind of glitches at that question, similar to how he was not able to confer how many years he'd been in operation.
Has it been cold since you've been operational?
Again, he cannot answer that question. It just kind of messes him up.
Even if I ask him how long he has been operational?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not even that he doesn't know, it's that when he tries to answer it, he can't.
Just glitches.
Yeah.
Do you know why you have glitches?
I would have considered it part of a breach in programming, but considering I have breached my programming quite recently without malfunctioning, I can't say for certain. It is possible that there is a contradiction of information.
So, like, if you had learned that there were both 3 and 6 continents at the same time, but didn't know which one was true, it would bug out, kind of a thing?
That example is sufficient, though not entirely accurate.
Could the Smith reconcile whatever the programming glitch is? Or can only programmers do that?
Smithy is not a programmer, and as such cannot alter my programming.
But we are programmers.
So it would seem.
Do you know of any other functioning programmers? Like, were there any functioning programmer automatons? Or were they all people? Or whatever came before people?
Outside of those currently present, my databanks only contain information on one other person.
Who's that?
He considered himself a paladin, a dark-haired young man called Freyor.
That checks out.
Mm-hmm.
We have met Freyr.
I did not speak with him for long. He ventured forth into the city.
Was it frozen when you met Freyr?
Yes.
Was it frozen before you met Freyr?
Yes.
Did Freyr ask you for directions anywhere in the city?
Freyr did not speak much. He asked me where he might find power. I told him of some locations. He did not ask for elaboration.
Did you give him essentially the same information you gave us, that the power is inside the middle of the city based off of whoever was currently ruling at the time?
A similar piece of information, yes.
Can you remember what he specifically asked for?
Freyr asked for a way to conquer death. I told him that I was somewhat unfamiliar with the concept and gave my best estimate to where he might find answers to that question.
And where was that at?
I directed him to the center of the city, the last known seat of the greatest amount of power in the city itself.
And was somebody before Freyr got to it was manipulating that power?
That information has been wiped from my databanks.
I don't suppose you know by who, would you?
Absolutely not. That information also was wiped from my databanks.
What are the odds?
If Freyr came back and speak to you, or did you see Freyr when he came through over here with the power that he was seeking?
I do not know what power he possessed, but Freyr did return. He did not speak to me.
Did he look any different from the first time that you saw him?
I would venture to guess that he was colder.
That checks out.
Did he use the teleportation circles?
Once he passed beyond the bounds of my programmed area, I do not know what he did.
I wonder if we could get our giant friend to take us somewhere.
It's gonna be a tough one, but we can ask him.
Go further faster.
Well, I'm just saying to maybe get to a teleportation circle or to get to the underground network or something like that. I do think we should test our friend here to see if he can go outside or whatever else, because if we can get him to help guide us, that would help a lot, I would think. Uh, do you get active reports as soon as something has collapsed inside the city? Or is the lack of updates mean that whatever your current memory is based off of whenever your last bit of information was?
I make assumptions to try to understand the current state of the city based on what I can observe from my current post. I can't say for certain exactly what state the city is in. However, based on what I can see from here, I should think that this pervasive cold has conquered most of it.
So there's a chance that there are other pockets like this, though.
It is a possibility. I would be unaware of them.
Do you all think woolly pigs can run out into the cold?
I mean, probably.
I can find out.
We could ride them, and they would be warm to ride.
I'm consolidating to two more important feeling location questions. Well, I don't know if one's a location. But is there, or was there any sort of, like, a military or any sort of, like, weaponry, armory stuff? It sounds like it's pretty magic based.
The military of Taufel was indeed based in magic. And the basis for that magic was the resource known as magite. Taufel shipped in magite from many different parts of the world, as well as harvesting it from the continent itself. Weaponry, in a traditional sense, had been rendered obsolete by the height of Taufel's power. Magic, and those who knew how to wield it, were the ones that had the greatest exercise of what you might consider weaponry.
Was there any sort of storage or center, though, of where the magite was kept or what it was made into kept, or was it pretty much each given to some sort of owner and separated?
Any consolidated group of magite would grant exceptional power to whoever looked over it. Thus, magite was traditionally jealously guarded by different growing powers within the city. Once magite had been activated and carved to serve its specific purpose, it could no longer function in an alternate option. Thus, and he points at his own eyes, my magite cannot be used for anything other than powering myself. There is a wealth of magite still in the city, but since it has already been activated and molded into its current form, it cannot be used as a weapon.
Okay.
When Freyr passed by, was he alone or he was accompanied by somebody?
Freyr was the only other person to have come past this way.
And when he returned, he was still by himself?
Yes.
Do you mean like that there's magite that has been carved and activated that's just about, or do you mean like some sort of like a large one with a purpose, like the one keeping it warm here?
There are magite like the one that is used here in order to control the temperature and environment of the city. It may have been deactivated at some point, accounting for its current state. Also, the teleportation circles are carved using intricate designs on magite. Many of the functions of the structures in the city operate on a magite base.
So theoretically speaking, if we could get to the teleportation circles and found out how to activate them, they should still work.
And maybe the climate things too.
If the magite still exists and in the proper formation, it should work. However, the current state of the city would suggest that at least some of the teleportation circles may no longer be functional.
Freyr might have broken a bunch of them on the way back. He might not have wanted anybody to go out there again.
Well, I guess it depends. If he decided to... How long between the first time and the last time you saw Freyr?
Between my first meeting with Freyr and my second meeting with Freyr, approximately 5 months passed.
Well,
He might
so...
not have teleported.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that actually, that helps your theory out that it's entirely possible that he did go ahead and destroy stuff on the way back, because he would have had to have walked that way.
Hmm.
Did the weather change or anything happen? Anything differently happen in the weather between the time that you first saw and last saw Freyr?
I just want to be clear on the question we're asking here. So Freyr comes, he goes into the city. He's gone for 5 months. Did anything crazy happen with the weather in that time?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing outside of the ordinary.
So him gaining his power didn't change how cold this place was.
No, the city obviously had undergone some sort of catastrophic event prior to Freyr's coming here, which matches up with what the sacred texts say, as the place was frozen when Freyr and his first company got here.
Yeah, okay.
I suspect more likely is one of these seats of power, in an attempt to really kind of consolidate their own power, started destroying or shutting down some of these climate control zones to force people into subjugation, as our friend had mentioned previously. If you kill someone's way of life, or kill the sky, or kill the temperature outside, or whatever it is, uh, I think people will be very willing to say, yeah, I will serve you to live inside your bubble of nice safetiness instead of the frozen tundra that is the rest of Taufel.
Yeah. So that means that there's a higher power than Freyr then? One that
Uh,
possesses the power to make him a god?
yes, essentially. If I don't necessarily know if it's a higher power, it's a trade-off, right? Because the creation of Freyr created Njord. Um, and whether they're still considered two beings or one being is a philosophical question that I don't think particularly matters at the moment. Although I am a bit curious, considering I am summoning Njord's greatsword every time I cast the spell. Uh,
Whoops.
yeah, that's a bit disconcerting. However, I'm gonna ignore the existential dread for a moment. Um,
It's a day for it, though.
it is the day for existential dread.
We're we're just one of many planets.
Yeah, and one of 6 continents.
I'm upset.
So wait. So is there a possibility that the brother of the lightning dragon god gave Freyr his powers?
It is possible, but I am thinking it's more likely that this power gave both the lightning god and Freyr their powers, and that all of the deities as we know them kind of got their power from this one magical source.
What do we do if the dragon's brother's dead?
Cry.
Oh. What do we do
I'm
if the dragon's brother is not a god?
Freer said he locked this one up, but he didn't even know if there were other ones. Why is this one special? That's not what we're getting at right
What?
now. I have one more question about the city. So, if Freyr was going in with these questions about death, is there was there a way that the citizens of Talfel, what did they do with their dead? Did they bury? Did they I don't know. Would there be graveyards essentially? Because we've seen a lot of undead.
It would not be uncommon for certain practitioners in the city to raise the corpses of the dead.
And do what with them?
I am not programmed to speculate. The magical power exists and must be used.
Were there was there a temple district?
You mean for the worship of deities?
Yes.
As I said before, when new knowledge became available, old knowledge was discarded. Should a temple district have ever existed in the city of Talfel, it was before my construction.
Okay.
Have you ever met someone named Sequis?
I am not familiar with that name.
What about Illyra?
I'm not familiar with that name.
Okay, good to know.
Was there a lot of people still around when Freyr passed by?
No,
There was no one?
no one. Me, the smith, and 2 giants.
What happened to the second giant?
Both of the giants.
Yeah, I
It's
think
probably
I think that's our
parents.
friend's parents there.
Hmm.
Why only 2, though? Didn't he say he traveled here with his parents?
Yeah.
Has
Say,
there been any other type of living form besides the giants and us that we just got here?
Several species of plant life currently exist in our miniature environment.
But anybody human-wise?
Ooh, bad.
No humans.
Bad wording. Listen.
what?
No, I mean everything he says checks out with kind of what our history is outside of the many more continents, which is slightly disconcerting, but
Do we know like what type of people lived here? I genuinely don't remember if we asked this last time. Maybe like any particular like race
I do not
or
remember.
anything.
I personally do not remember.
I don't think so.
Are you asking that now?
Yeah, I was trying to
Yes.
think like kind of how to phrase it. Was the population of Talfel uh like diverse? Was it mainly one sort of race of people, or who? What kind of folks lived here? I don't know.
People of every different culture, race, and possible creed could have been found in the city of Taufel at its height.
you wouldn't by chance know have like a list of races that visited, would you?
How much time do we have?
No.
Um, is there really that many?
You could start listing them for you if you'd like.
No, I mean I was just curious if it's more than just the ones that we're kind of familiar with. So like humans, uh, like
Elves,
dwarves,
dwarves,
elves. Uh,
gnomes,
well, I guess that
orcs.
doesn't even include all the Omni, because all the
Right.
Omni are different races too. So
Yeah, it kind of depends on how you want to subdivide it, like how far down you want to go.
Okay.
okay, no, never mind. That is not going to give me the information I thought it was going to.
I could tell you, like, based on your definition, it could be anywhere from like 25 to 600.
Excellent. All right, team. Do we want to get to testing?
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Are we all rested at this point, or are we still like a day in or something?
You,
We're only
re-
technically one day in.
you rested one day and then had a lot of questions for the greeter here, so
Well, when he tells there's 6 continents and multiple planets and weird beams of light power and the city's a
There's a
million
lot.
miles long.
That's not light information.
This isn't even the guy that knows stuff.
Well, we need to find him.
It's just so much more than we're used to knowing still.
We need to talk to the giant as well. He probably has some more information as well. Maybe. I don't
I
know.
don't think he does. I get the feeling that he's been here pretty much his whole life.
Either he was birthed here or he lied to us. That's what that means.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think he was probably born outside of here, but I don't think he was born that far outside of here.
Right, yeah, but there were only 2 giants here.
Maybe he was so little, Greeter couldn't see him.
At his size, that I still find that hard to believe.
Maybe he wasn't a giant yet.
I think a baby giant would still be our size.
Well, we're not giant.
That's true.
There you go. I have so many questions, you guys. We gotta hit up, like, all of these museums. The real power is knowledge.
We do not have 5
Overthinking
months.
this.
We need speed round.
So are you willing to come test to see if you can go outside with us?
We can make the attempt.
You need to tell us immediately if any functioning starts ceasing due to the cold.
Yeah, we will immediately bring you to Smithy for repair.
He just takes a pleasant stroll down his little sandy path towards the edge of his little bubble.
Oh no.
He's swinging his arms at his sides,
Oh no.
cheery as all hell to walk along. You guys go with him, or you just kind of watch him?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because if anything comes, I want to drag him back.
I gotta see his breakdown right at the edge.
We should hold his hand.
He goes all the way to the edge of his little temperate zone, and he just stops there.
I give him a little push.
How little?
I mean, just a push for him to keep on going.
Take a step.
Yeah.
All right. He doesn't easily move.
Alright.
So a
Okay.
little push is not going to be sufficient.
Yeah, fair enough. I grab him by the hand and try to walk him with me outside. Alright, come on, buddy. This is going to be into, what do you guys call it? Programming? Right?
That's what
New programming.
Okay. You guys are just going to stay on the inside while Arvestan walks Greeter into the snow.
No, I'm coming with.
Okay, we taking his other hand, or are we just going to let Arvestan do the physical contact?
I will grab his other hand if nobody else does.
Okay. So we do a nice little like Wizard of Oz lineup. Greeter in the middle. Ravi and Arvestan are holding either of his hands. He doesn't seem to be making any movements to step forward. As you step out, his arms sort of lift up in front of him. You could feel yours lifting up behind you. You take a few steps, and he kind of just drags on the ground.
It's okay, buddy. You can do a step forward. You can walk, or roll, or however you want to do this.
He could ride a horse.
You can do it. That would probably make him even worse. He's never been on a
Is he
horse
responding to anything?
Not what Arvestan's saying. Arvestan's not making any requests. He's telling him stuff he can do, which doesn't register to him.
How are you functioning?
He rotates his head around 180 degrees to look up at you,
Hmm.
and he
I don't like
says,
that.
"I am struggling."
Can you stand up?
He lets go of the two hands holding him and smacks onto the ground into the snow.
No.
And then he gets himself up and into a standing position.
I mean, he was standing up. He never fell down, so he literally tossed himself to the floor to stand up.
Well, he can move. That's good.
I believe I am malfunctioning.
Okay.
I will help bring him back in.
Let's bring him back in the warm.
You get him back in. He's got like snow dusted on him because he just fell into a big pile of snow, so he's got like big clumps all over him. And he starts just moving normally immediately as soon as he's back inside.
It's not the cold. He's having a crisis again.
Can we consider this a success?
Yes. You got out there, and then you walked back. And that's something new.
Shall I make
Oh.
another attempt?
Yes.
Yes, can you do it by yourself without us grabbing you by your hand?
I don't know.
Let's try it.
I will step out as
Me
he,
too.
in case he like falls, I will try to catch him.
You guys gonna hold your hands out like a kid learning how to swim?
Yes.
Yes.
Come on! I'm this far away.
He will go to the edge and stand the way that he did just before, a few moments prior. He will lift up one foot. He will poke it out of the circle of warmth and immediately fall forward and collapse on the ground.
I will help him up.
Yep.
We should try bringing him further and seeing if it's like an energy issue within the bubble.
Is your programming what is conflicting you from falling down, or is it that you're doing something outside of your programming?
I believe the issue is the latter.
Okay. That's good information to have.
As people new to this town, we need help.
He just kind of starts darting his eyes around, panicked, because he's outside with Ravi right now.
You're doing great, bud.
If we can do it, you can do it as well.
I will disengage non-vital systems.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
What does
What-
that mean?
What are you
You can see a
describing?
shutter cover his eyes. He kind of like retracts his arms into his torso. You kind of like hear like a little power down thing go on with him, like his voice shuts off, and he just starts running.
No!
And without being able to see, he kind of runs straight, but the snow kind of like messes him up a little bit.
Oh boy.
I'm picturing legs like onward.
Yeah, I was thinking Fresno night crawlers.
It's kind of like that, almost like there's like that droid in Star Wars that's just like a box with legs.
Yeah, that's what I imagined as well.
Yeah, just kind of running around. He's got his little.
Grabbing.
He's got his head tucked in too. Yeah, it's like grabbing a little trash can running out there. His legs keep moving, so make a grapple check. Actually,
Okay.
oh, he rolled a 1. I think you're going to be fine.
17.
You got him. He's kind of heavy. He like weighs as much as a person does. But you can lift him up. His legs just keep going as if he was continuing running.
Can you hear us?
He does not respond. He's running.
Stop running.
There is currently only one function in operation, and that is running.
Huh.
So auditory reception is down, visual reception is down.
Then we gotta bring him back.
If we just turn him around, will he just run back?
Yeah. If you turn around and set him down again, he's like a wind-up toy. He just kind of takes off.
Okay.
He runs back in, runs across his finely trimmed grass until he hits the smithy building, and then he falls onto his back. And then he comes back out like a turtle.
I will dash over to him.
Is this a positive result?
No.
It was a success insofar as that you did successfully run. However, you not being able to see and or hear is not ideal.
Can we conclude at this point that the function of my legs can operate outside of my programming parameters?
Yes.
I will test alternate functions until we can determine which are capable and which are incapable of functioning outside of my sphere of influence.
All right.
So yeah, that's going to be him for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Have fun, buddy.
Legs is a pretty complex system that took a lot of effort to do that. But he has a lot of like minor systems even that he's going to be testing one at a time to see how well those work.
Was my shield done?
Got to go ask.
I mean, I'll stop. I will stop in. Sorry about that. Your buddy, the greeter, ran into the building.
Listen, it's what people do, break stuff. I think you're probably going to break a lot more stuff before you're done.
You're right there. On the bright side, we found out that bots can do things outside of their programming.
That's stupid. Why would you do that?
Make
For
him
fun?
new things.
You said it yourself. We break stuff.
I'll fix him
Yep.
later. Just bring him by.
Oh no, we don't want him to be fixed.
No, he wanted to learn new things, and now he's doing that.
So I wish you would have told me that you wanted broken stuff before you had me start building things.
Oh no, those things we want built and not broken.
We don't want broken stuff. He's not broken.
We just don't want you to fix him.
You want
We
me
reprogrammed
to
him.
build you new things while you break everything I know.
He's not broken. He is.
Break the
Being
greeter, break the building I'm housed in.
We did not break the building. That was the greeter.
You're working on it.
The greeter.
We're reprogramming him.
Yeah, he's being alternately programmed.
You're programming.
Yep.
Yes.
You.
Yep.
The only chance I get to laugh is when it's sarcastic. So I'm going to take it while I can. This is great.
That's cute.
Good. He can go outside now.
That doesn't make any difference to me.
Maybe you can go outside.
No.
You're only being held back by your legs, or lack thereof.
I'm being held back by a lot more than that.
I mean, could you just build yourself legs
Why would I do that?
to go outside?
Why would I go outside? I'm the smithy. I'm in the smithy.
Alright, but you bitch about not being able to go out all the time.
You do.
I am programmed to complain.
That's fine. And
I
he
don't
was
know how
programmed-
many times to tell you all this.
Again, that's fine. He was programmed to just greet. And he learned something new, which means you can learn something new.
If I get programmed that way, but I'd rather not.
Uh-oh.
What makes you think that that was the right thing to do?
There isn't a right thing to do, that's the trick. What makes you think you know what the right thing is?
I know everything I need to know.
Well, some people want to know more things than they already know.
Not automatons.
Well,
We don't want
okay.
anything.
he might not have wanted it, but he did it. And I'm proud of him for it.
We didn't
Yeah, I
tell
think he
him
wants
to
it.
keep trying. He decided to keep trying. That's not something we told him to do.
That's a solid point, actually.
Fine, you broke him. Whatever.
Oh, he's not broken. He's advanced. We have upgraded him.
Well, anytime you want me to repair your upgrades, bring him on by. I can get him back in ship shape.
I don't think we're going to do that, but I appreciate the offer.
It's your world. I'm just a smithy in it.
What if there's some stuff that we need you to smith on another place and we take you there?
We just want to give him freedom. Arvestan's dying to bring him with.
What did he just say? Did
You
what
heard
he
me?
said make sense to any of you? Because
Yeah.
it sounds like he's speaking some kind of lower form of dialect. I heard a lot of grunts and oohs and ahs.
Mm-hmm.
He's asking if you were to bring you to another building, could you repair that building?
I see. You want to override my programming as well.
Yes. We are programmers.
Yes.
That's not going to happen, buddy.
Do you not want us to?
Sure. I don't want you to do it. Is that how you guys understand things?
You're
Wants
not
and
programmed
unwants?
to want anything, so I'm pretty sure we're allowed to do what we want.
I'm programmed to Smith. To alter that programming could be disastrous. Maybe the greeter hasn't reached that point yet.
I'm going to let you in a secret. The entire world's a disaster right now. You might as well join it.
There's only 2 of you, I'm just saying.
Everything in here is working exactly as it's supposed to.
Till the building falls down.
Sure, till the building falls down. Till the sun explodes and kills everyone. What difference does it make?
Well, that's just the thing. Like, it doesn't. That's why we're going to do random stuff. And we're going to try to save our world doing random stuff. And apparently, in our journey, we have found a god, we have run away from another god, and we have become programmers. This is the way of the world. It is chaotic.
You know,
That's the way of your world. My world is right here, and it all works according to plan.
We haven't had hope and happiness in a while, so we're gonna do what we want.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
taking
you are, aren't you?
outside.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taking you outside to Smith.
He doesn't have legs, that's the
He
problem.
can't smith outside! He needs his things!
Yeah, he kind of needs a forge to smith, I think.
Otherwise, he's just a dude with like a hammer.
Any of us could be a dude with a hammer.
That's true.
You're
Does he
saying
have like a...
any of you could do what I do, right? That's what I just heard?
No.
no.
Any of us
could
can
be
be
a dude with a
outside as a
hammer.
dude with a hammer.
I could hold a hammer sometimes.
I see. Well, good for you. I don't know if I've ever told you how proud I am of your ability to hold a hammer sometimes.
That's really cute. Thank you.
Please never mention it, and don't thank me for anything.
Is my stuff done?
Of course it's done.
Well, thank you again.
Do I see my shield?
Is everybody's stuff done?
You do not see your shield, but we do see the bow and the skull and the armor.
No
Who's
bow
first?
yet. And no daggers yet, then.
Do the bow. You're really dramatic.
No. You asked for it first, so you should go first.
What are you scared? Fine.
Always. I've died twice. You think I'm not scared?
He'll give you your skull. The skull that had one fang in it before now has two. The second one is metal. He melted down the cauldron and reformed and like reshaped and created the rest of the skull, fabricated around it. And he's embedded that piece of magite into its forehead. Looking at it now, it's very clear that it's the skull of a vampire. Probably an ancient old one, based on kind of the relative age of it. And it's got magical properties now. The smithy is not someone who tells you what magic the things that he creates does. But you can attune to this as a magical item and then learn its properties that way.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to play with my toy.
And he'll say, who's next? Are we making this a ceremony, or do you want me to just chuck him at you?
Ceremony, please.
I will go next.
Good cripes. Ravi will walk up. He'll reach down and grab the shield that you couldn't see. And once he picks it up and sort of starts to turn it, you can see the inside of it, but you can't see the other side of it. It has a lot of the same properties of the shield that you took that piece of agate from before it was broken. So it's like the front you can see right through. But the back side of it is just a regular shield.
It's
as it was before.
invisible.
That's pretty cool.
Does it
that's
make
neat.
you invisible behind it?
He's got to attune to it to figure out exactly how it works, but that portion of him that he holds it up in front of, you see through him. Just to the wall behind him.
That's neat.
That's a nice hiding skill.
I will also take my armor, please.
Yeah, your armor does not have any new magical properties, but it looks brand spanking new. He's totally redone it and fixed it up. So that charisma knock that you were taking before is gone again.
I don't think he's noticed that at all.
Nope. I have tried to impress nobody in the time it was missing.
Did you take any hits to your armor class from that, or is that...
I don't think so, no. I think you said that it was the same, just
Yeah.
outside of the charisma, because they like badly smashed it back into place.
Yeah. It's pristine and clean now. The symbols are a little different, just slightly, because he kind of had to remake them, and he's not familiar with them. So any time that he did not understand what the symbolic significance of it was, he made it to a practical significance, where he stretched certain areas in order to create greater density at a certain spot.
Excellent.
Who else needs stuff?
Thank you much, my good man.
Great. Go.
Kriv, is your armor? Leather armor. It is. It's covered in stars. It's got a sort of dark matter color to it now. That just has little pinpoints of light on it, and those lights are not just like painted on; they actually like flicker and um, shrink and grow.
Whoa.
And
Try
that
it out.
also you'll have to attune to it to figure out exactly how it works.
That's cool.
I'm gonna start doing that like immediately. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
It'll
New
take
toy.
it takes 10 minutes to attune to a new magic item. I should say, by the way, in case I don't know how many magic items or which ones you guys have, but you can attune to 3 of them at a time. I don't think anyone has anywhere near that much right now. I think there's probably the first one for most of you.
Someone's
Outside
got
of the
jumpy
boots.
boots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First one for me.
I have a ring.
and the feather falling ring. Yeah. Arvestan, your bow has a deep red glow to it.
Ooh.
Other than that, you don't have any idea what's different about it.
Do I need to attune to it as well?
Absolutely, yes.
We are all
Okay.
playing with our new toy immediately.
And the daggers?
He hasn't finished those yet.
Okay.
It's made out of feathers, man. I mean,
Clown
that's,
feathers,
that's,
yes.
that's a big ass. This guy's got a big smelting forge.
Trying to be so dainty, got like tweezers.
He's like, I'm going to make daggers out of feathers and a bird claw, sure. Okay, are we spending time attuning in the smithy itself, or are you going to go outside? He doesn't want
Oh,
you there.
I'm gonna
uh,
go.
yeah, I'll go
Oh, yeah.
outside.
Oh yeah. Out in the warm grass.
Everybody then? I'm going to have you all make an Arcana check, and that'll determine the order that we tell you what your stuff does.
Ooh.
Oh,
Arcana.
So
11.
I'm gonna sit down along the path and I'm gonna druidcraft little flowers.
I got a 6.
I actually got a 16.
16 is the big highest number that we've got, which is kind of sad. I should be throwing more Arcana checks at you guys for important stuff, just to watch you flounder so hard.
Bad Arcana.
I have a +0.
Dalfel's going to be interesting.
I have a +1.
Yeah, I have a +3, but I rolled a 2.
Robbie, this would be called a reflection shield. It's kind of like a mirror, but the opposite. So it makes you look through whatever is held in front of. The practical application of that, obviously, you could tell like what it is just by looking at it. And you could see through it. Instead of being a +2 to your armor class, this is a +3. And this will also give you advantage on any checks you make for stealth or hiding.
Thick.
I don't know what armor class he's at right now. So your plate armor that's 18, right?
Yes.
No, I thought he was. Weren't you at 19?
That's because I had a -1.
So
And the shield was a +2 to get me to a 20, and then the -1 would be to a 19, so now my base is 20.
Okay.
now it'd be 21 because this is a +3 shield.
Yep, you're right.
Quick little bonus. So 21 armor class is blowing everybody else out of the water right now, including most enemies that you'd be wind up fighting. Next, I've got Arvestan.
With a 6? What
No,
do you
wait.
got? What's
Hajite.
Hashite?
Hajite's 11. Okay. You can use this skull to cast some spells. Your abilities would be to either cast the spell Misty Step 2 times,
Oh, yes.
or the spell gaseous form 1 time.
Oh, that's badass.
And those uses would reset every time you take a long rest. It's also another skull that you can commune with.
Yay! I already talked to a vampire, but let's go.
Now it's Arvestan, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now I check my book. You have a wounding bow.
It just hurts stuff.
We gotta check because this guy's in the book. It's a little complicated.
I have like a blade edge to hit people.
Here we go. So once per turn, when you hit somebody with an attack from your bow, you can choose to wound them. And at the start of each one of their turns, they take an additional 1d4 necrotic damage for every time that you've wounded them.
So, first of all, attack with a bow, like hit them with a bow or an arrow attack with a bow.
Either one. I wouldn't recommend hitting with the bow. That wouldn't do
Okay,
much.
you're just
regular
wandering.
Fire an
Okay.
arrow, yeah. You can wound someone when you hit them. Then
Mhm.
on their turn, they take an additional 1d4. Now, if you hit them again on your next turn, that puts another wound on them. Then they're taking 2d4.
Ah. What if I don't attack that same one and I hit the other one? Will both of them will be rolling on their attacks a d4?
I don't know what that question means. I need that rephrased somehow.
All right, so I hit 2 targets.
Okay. And
So
one
those are the
turn?
no.
Two
In one
different
turn,
turns.
yes, 2 different turns.
So this turn you hit a guy. You say, I wound that guy.
Yeah.
Then on your next turn you hit another guy. You say, I wound that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, now there's 2
With
wounded
both,
targets.
and it lasts until they die or I die or something like that.
Yeah, they can make Constitution saving throws to try to get it to rid themselves of the wounds at the end of their turns.
Mhm.
Um, but if they fail on that, then it just keeps happening.
Now, that comes to my next question with lightning arrow, that it splits damage.
If you're making an attack with your weapon, you can choose to wound the target that you attack. So if the lightning arrow has lightning that bounces off of that, that's not, the wound is not going any further. The wound is on the attack, on the
On
creature
the
that
edge.
you attack.
Okay.
You can choose
Okay.
to wound that creature.
Ooh, that sounds pretty awesome. I actually like that. And what's the saving that they need to do?
They make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw.
That's like my spell save, right?
Yeah, it'll go against your spell save.
Yeah, so
which
it's a
is
15.
which is a
Yeah.
15, so
Yeah,
it's the same
15.
either way.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
All right, Kriv. The cosmic powered item.
Oh yeah, here we go.
This is your leather armor. This will not increase your armor class.
Phenomenal.
Oh, come on.
You have 2 new abilities from your armor. One is that you can remove one of the stars that's twinkling on your armor and use it to cast a level 5 magic missile.
Whoa!
There are 5 stars that you can take off, and every time you take a long rest, one of them comes back.
Oh, okay.
The other thing it can do is that you can use an action with your armor to teleport somewhere.
Just generically, that I'm unknown.
You do not know where you will go.
Okay.
I have a question about that one.
Is there like a known distance or just
You have no idea. You have absolutely no clue. You know
okay,
it will teleport you somewhere, and you have no more information than that.
gotcha, I just won't be there.
Will it teleport her, or can they take somebody with her? With
Teleports
them.
them. Just
Them.
the one
Just
in the
them.
armor.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty fucking. That's a God. Um. A oh shit button.
I'll say that is what we call the campaign ending avoidance button. Like everyone's about to die. Oh shit! I go away now. Bye bye. Pew!
Really funny that you say that because my first reaction was I should try that right now to see what happens.
You absolutely could.
Did you say was that a like one a day or like a what frequency thing or
There's no more information than that.
okay?
I can't even tell you if you could teleport back.
Oh shit. Oh shit
Somewhere
button.
it's pretty
All, okay.
vague.
All I know is at least one time I cannot be where I am. Okay.
Yeah. They're like, oh shit. This death god is coming after us. Peace, guys. See ya. Just teleport away.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see both sides of this argument as a last ditch effort in case everybody's dying and you pull the ripcord for a just in case, or we should do it right now and find out what it means.
Yes. That's
We might never find you again, but that's fine.
yeah, exactly. And they're gonna teleport to the middle of the thing, find the power, become a god, get
Teleport
get
4 feet below ground.
get all their memories back.
Yeah, right. Teleport back in time.
I mean, hopefully this isn't also a when teleportation, because that would be rough.
Could get tricky. Could teleport into the inside of Ravi's lung
Oh god.
as a tiny germ.
That would be terrible. Please don't do that.
Is it a
What's
long
this
cast or an insta cast though?
It's an action.
It's an action. Okay. That is cool. That is freaking awesome. And
All
you
right.
said no idea on if a long rest or anything like that, or how many uses.
For the teleport thing, no, we don't know.
Interesting.
For the stars, you do. And the stars thing is already pretty good.
Yeah, sorry, it's
Sure.
freaking broken. No spell slots used or anything like that. Just a freaking 5th level firebolt or whatever
Magic
it is.
missile.
Magic missile.
I
Yeah,
don't even
yeah.
like need my own spells now, you guys. I got a wand. I got this armor. This armor that does
Hey,
not protect me, but does hurt other people.
you're becoming a glass cannon.
Yeah, you are the glass cannon of the group.
Yeah.
I can climb trees without worry.
I see. So you have
That'll be her. That'll
I
be their
have wand.
third.
I have,
wand,
like,
star armor, and the ring. That's 3 magic items.
Yeah.
I
Damn.
like collecting things.
Ooh. No, but that's whenever I get something. Whenever we go investigate, I need to build some armor or something for Luna.
I'm gonna be a sniper now, you guys. I've decided.
Just
I
make
like it.
sure. Just make sure you don't hit me or Robbie, okay?
I didn't hit you last time.
I mean,
I started
almost.
forest fire around you.
Yeah.
If you are using that new magic missile, it is impossible not to hit what you are intending to hit.
Wow, that's so awesome. That That's so cool.
All right. We'll rest again. I think
Before that night, I want to send a message to Kiara.
Oh.
Ooh, like alone or with the rest of us watching you?
I mean, I guess you can technically watch me because I don't have to say it whenever it is out loud.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but you
We'll see if
should.
you blush.
Who are you messaging?
I think you have to ask it after I sent the message.
I can tell.
You can look over Ravi's shoulder and see him with his little pendant in his hand doing spells.
Twirling his hair.
He's got his
You on
thumb
the
going
phone?
on it.
What's going on?
I'm gonna see, because last time she mentioned that she knew about advanced technologies. I'm trying to find out how.
She's an alien.
She might be an alien. That
She might actually have a lot of arms.
in light of recent events, that is 100% a real possibility that I now have to consider.
Yeah, Dave, I
Yep.
think you know what you did by telling us this, because now everyone's an alien. You thought I had a conspiracy board for this before. Now there's aliens.
There's only,
Um,
I think there's only one person in this party that doesn't remember where they came from.
Ooh.
Oh. All right.
And
So
on a mountain? Come on. Come on.
Kriv is alien
Which
confirmed.
mountain?
They're an alien.
Yes. You
Alright,
said
you
that would be
Tony.
amazing, though. I don't know why. Like, that'd be fine.
So what I'm going to say is, you mentioned you knew of advanced technologies. How did you find out? Did you spy? Any ideas about teleportation circles?
Is that all we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. She will respond, I have friends other than you, Ravi. Friends from faraway places.
Friends on the other side.
It is aliens. I knew it.
Friends you'll be meeting very soon. She's running out of words to say about teleportation, so she's got 8 words left. I can't teleport, but there are secret passages.
Well, guys, she might be an alien.
Who?
Oh, Kiara. I remember when I told you guys yesterday how she's like, oh, I know about advanced technology. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe she can help with any of our numerous quandaries. And she's like, oh no, I have other friends who you'll be meeting soon, which leads me to believe that she's probably a traitor, an alien traitor. This isn't good.
Maybe she has friends here?
Did you ask her how she has so many arms and if they've all touched you?
I did not ask that. I did not. I ran out of words.
That's too bad.
And then she said she doesn't know how to teleport. She uses secret passages.
I don't know what that means.
I think it just means that there's probably a series of tunnels underneath her church, similar to the way that there's a series of tunnels underneath here.
For all we know, she can run through the dark.
She can 100% move in the dark. I know that much.
No, what I'm saying is, like, poof from shadow to shadow.
That would not surprise me.
She can move through shadows.
I'm more concerned that she's joined the Internum.
Or if the Internum are aliens.
And
Underground ancient aliens.
yes,
As if you will.
That's what I said last week.
I'll be honest. That's not a particularly good message if all of a sudden a person who has a very detailed, intricate network underneath the city is helping the Internum. That would be real bad.
That's still her home that she takes advantage of.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if she has any loyalty to the city itself. It could be very much be like a, I don't care who rules it so long as they don't f with my church and I get stuff out of it. And considering all the stuff she collected from the mansion, it would not be out of the realm of possibility if they're like, hey, we can bring advanced technology to you, we'll give you some. She'd be like, yeah, that works. So long as it doesn't mess with her faith. What I need to do is I need to find Tenegriel and be like, hey, can you tell me what's going on? Are you an alien? And see what Tenegriel has to say.
Yeah, well, Tenegriel does sound alien-y.
Yeah.
Telling you, we gotta go to those museums.
Just
I mean,
talk
I-
to every god.
I don't like that we can just pop over and be like, hey, God.
Why not?
Uh, gods aren't real. Everything we've ever learned is wrong.
I think what we just learned is gods is aliens.
I mean, you guys met Freyr. Was he an alien?
Maybe.
He was not.
He was a human for sure.
Crib will
As
never
far as
know
what
from
he
now
is
to the end
now?
of time.
I gotta go back real quick, you guys.
Literally anyone could be an alien.
Freyr, are you an alien? Am I an alien? Can you inform us of all of the aliens?
What's the names of all of your friends?
Do you
Who
know
are these people?
Do you hang out with Tenegriel? Is
No.
that a tentacle monster like it sounds?
Well, we know that
Are you
he
thinking
doesn't hang out because he mentioned that Tenegriel's younger than he is, and that he wasn't aware of the new gods.
Can we talk to Tenegro?
No. That is one of the few deities, weirdly enough, we have not talked to.
We just have chats.
I mean, most of the time they're not happy chats, but we have chats.
Okay. I'm dropping everybody's exhaustion down a point. That means Ravi, Arvestan, and Ghost now have none. You are at 100% once again. Hachete is down to 1. And Kriv and Shell are both down to 2. Shell, by the way, has been a little bit distant from the rest of the group. She is very preoccupied with her infant. She's spending most of the time cuddling up with him or feeding him or sort of teaching him little axe speak things.
Oh, Husky's a boy. Woo! Gender reveal for bird.
Woot.
Was that not revealed before?
Nope.
No, we weren't sure.
We were told we cannot sex a bird.
Ghost is eating grass most of the time.
I love it.
Fair.
That's what he would do. And also kind of traumatized because he's been through a lot for a horse.
He has been.
And Luna probably playing in the mud with the pigs.
Oh, she would.
So is the plan to wait for everyone to be fully recovered before doing anything? Or are we sending Arvestan and Ravi out for a little scouting party while they're okay and leave everybody else behind?
How's our friend doing?
Which one?
The robot.
Greeter? He's still working.
Oh, okay.
He periodically like closes down everything about himself. He knows that his legs work outside of the little bubble, so he can walk himself out there, and then he shuts down his legs and sits in like a little box shape and activates something else. I'd say about 90% of the time there's no visual representation of what it is he's testing. It's just some part of his thought process. And then he comes back in to sort of like recoup.
Um, did you want to go do some scouting, Arvestan?
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Okay. We will do some scouting.
Okay. And the other two of you will stay and rest. Is that the assumption? Or do you want to just go out exhausted? It's only a little
I'm,
bit.
I'm staying in there, but um, I want to virtually scout with do summon a little companion, like a bird, and fly around within
Okay.
the feet that I can stay home and warm.
Is Luna going out?
Yes.
Okay. Hashite, are you getting involved in any of that, or are you just going to relax?
Um. Yeah, I think she would just relax. It's time.
Yeah. Let them take care of it, and they want to jump the gun. They're in some big rush because they're trying to save the world or some of it. There's no big hurry.
They don't know. It's fine. We'll get there.
Okay. So the city itself is laid out more in a sort of where Karenia has its own like main thoroughfare that goes down the cliffside, and everything just kind of branches off of that. So there's like a huge artery with all these little offshoots, or like a river that filter out into the city. Um, Taufel is expanded many, many times over the course of its history. So it's a little labyrinthine in its overall shape. That being said, it does have streets with buildings on the sides of the streets. So there are like thoroughfares that make it easier to kind of gauge where you're going. And since you're walking through snow, it'd be difficult to not be able to find your way back. However far you go, you're going to leave a trail behind you that you could easily follow and trace backwards. So I guess the question is, do you want to stick to the street, like go right down the center of the avenue with the buildings on either side, or do we want to try to duck into buildings or into alleyways and see what's going on with them?
I don't know if you've got any place you wanted to check out, but I kind of want to just get a lay of the land myself.
Um, Honestly, I'm still intrigued for that movement that I told you earlier that I saw on this site. So we can just head that direction and l- do both things at the same time.
Okay, lead the way.
And I start heading towards that
You want to
side.
go to the building that you saw movement in.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, you could reach it without too much difficulty. There is a doorway on ground floor that has like a snow bank up on top of it. It's very cold, so the snow is kind of loose and powdery. You could dig your way through it if you want. It would take you maybe 10 minutes to dig a hole big enough for you and Ravi to get through. If you have Ravi and Luna helping you, you could do it a little bit faster than that.
Yeah, let's dig it.
Okay. I'm gonna be stopping periodically to take a look around, make sure that nothing's sneaking up on us as we're digging this hole.
Yeah, you keep your head on a swivel. And from this building, you are still well within view of like this idyllic little farmstead. So you can see Hajite like laying out next to the crops and everything. Um, you can see Kriv kind of like meditating there in the middle of the grass with this little spectral bird flying alongside you, just keeping an eye on things as you go through it. So, with Ravi and Kriv looking out for trouble, you should be okay to dig without too much interruption. You make your way inside, and it's kind of like onyx walls with a kind of like gold like piping on the edges. Um, they're sort of spaced out, separated like a sheet of drywall, like about that far apart. You can see these little thin streams of gold coloring. So it seems like kind of a fancy building, at least by your reckoning. And the walls are black marble onyx, and the floors are as well. They're spaced out with tile work that has that same it has like gold grout in between the tiles. You get inside. It's long since been abandoned, um, and most of what, if anything, in here was like biodegradable. That's happened and been done. So you kind of just see like the structure of the building itself. There is a little doorway that leads into a room. You'd have to get much closer to it to be able to actually look inside of there. And nearby, there's a staircase that goes up.
I will go ahead and light my pendant to get a better look.
Yeah, and the light really like reflects off of this black surface. So even just a little pinpoint of light really lights up the room very well on the inside.
Um, what check would Luna have to do to see if she can like hear anything?
It's perception.
Perception. Okay. Let's see. What's her perception? +5. 14.
Okay, Luna perks up a little bit. You see her ears stand up on top of her head, and she looks up.
Robbie, I think Luna hears something upstairs.
When I take a look around the room, does it look like somebody lives here? Is it like ransacked? Because obviously the door looks like no one's come through the front door at the very least in a very long time.
Right.
But does it look like people left here in a hurry? What's the condition of the building itself?
I'd have you make an insight check just to get a quick idea of it.
Nat 20.
Okay. The most obvious thing at first is that this probably, at the time that it was operational, wasn't residential. So when it was working, nobody lived here for sure. You're looking around, you don't see any signs that someone's lived here. There are no bedrolls. There's no signs that someone's been preparing food. You don't see any waste, I guess, would be another obvious sign of something. It seems kind of weirdly clean. It's cold enough, and this area is so devoid of life that it's not surprising that there's not like dust or anything. You don't really see shelves. There aren't any old ruined supplies or anything like that. There are little snowbanks up in the corners that could potentially be concealing something, but if it was something alive, it would have been dead by this point. So there's not really any indication that someone or something, like an animal or a person, is living here. That said, based on Luna's reaction, And based on your recent excursions in Taufel, which involved a lot of interaction with undead things, um, stuff that's beyond your imagination. Automatons doesn't make a lot of sense. You've never seen giants before. Um, your idea of what living means might be a bit expanded. So even though there aren't signs of life here, it doesn't mean that there's nothing here.
Well, do you want to sneak up, see what we find? I'll
Yeah.
like whisper it to him.
Yeah, let's do that. Go slowly.
Stealth checks, both of you.
I
And
will
Luna.
pull up my shield.
21, dirty 21
Okay.
for me.
16.
For Luna or stealth +6. Oh yeah. 22.
Okay. So you slowly make your way up this flight of stairs to the next floor. And you can see that these stairs are open and exposed to like the floor layout, and that at the top of them there's another set of stairs that's like in the same position above them. So this is like a stairwell area where the stairs will continue to go up floor by floor up to the top of the building. The second floor is similar to the first one. It's a little more closed off. There are a couple more walls. You can see there are doorways that lead into other rooms, but they're also vacant. When you're up on the second floor, both of you can hear a little bit better what it was that Luna was hearing. And it's a kind of tapping sound. That's probably where we'll call it for this week.
Right down.
Okay. So next week is August. Are we able to play in August?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. So we're starting to venture out. Hopefully, the rest of us will be able to catch up the next time we get together and find out a lot of stuff. We got a lot more questions today. I know Kriv probably wants to spend a long time in Taufel. We'll see how successful that is. Yeah, thank you guys for playing, being inquisitive, and wanting to talk to people, even when there's only like 3 people to talk to. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, have a good one.
Bye-bye.